impossible. And for the ones that hold to the tribes chart, it becomes worse. The reason that it becomes worse is because African Americans as a people group are completely different people on the father side by majority than the overwhelming majority of Native Americans and the majority of Latinos. You do have Afro-Latinos, but most Latinos are not Afro-Latinos on the father side. Most Latinos on the father side are descendants of the Spaniards. And the genetic evidence reflects that because most Latino males are R1b M269, the same haplogroup that you find amongst Spanish and Portuguese. African Americans are E1B1A, which is exactly what you find to this day by majority amongst Western Central African tribal groups. All those different tribal groups that are in Western Central Africa today, the majority of them are E1B1A carriers and downstreams of E1B1A. And then your Native Americans are QM3. These are three radically different people groups. Native American peoples predominantly descended from the Clovis people. Latinos are predominantly an admixed people who on the father's side are predominantly descended from the Spaniards, and African Americans are predominantly the exact same people as your Western Central African peoples that have been historically in Western Central Africa before there was an Abraham. So it's impossible for those three people groups to be the same people, let alone for them to be the Israelites, when the Native...
All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who will and teach well, who taught us this truth. This is your brother Yashimai from the GMS Atlanta camp, and what we just heard is basically what is I mean, he's a Christian now, from what I saw in another part of this video, but he was once in the truth. And so what this man is basically saying is that, 100%, he says, without a doubt, the so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics are not the Israelites. And the very first thing he said is that the camps with the 12 tribes charts are going completely off, man. And so, very simple, let's go ahead and start off with 1 Corinthians 2:14 says, but the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. Again, neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. And what we have here is we have a man that is trying to, he's trying to discern the spiritual through the ways of Babylon, man. Okay? Which that in itself, it doesn't make sense, because how has that worked out for anybody? I mean, think about the mentality of this man. He's sitting here telling you that because of the bloodline that an Amalekite gave him, because, I mean, that's who owns that 21andMe, right? Matter of fact, let's go ahead, just to prove that. Did Israel buy the DNA testing company? Let's go ahead and put that. Wikipedia indicates that TTAM Research acquired the assets of the DNA testing 21andMe. Other DNA companies, Israel is a major hub and for genetic researchers. So basically, what he's doing is through the enchantment and the lies of Esau Edom, he's trying to use that to prove the spiritual, man. And the scriptures go against that, okay? We're not here to prove to you through archaeological finds, although there are many, there are many, but the scriptures themselves, they tell you that Yahweh Shai came from the tribe of Judah. And then, it talks about the tribe of Judah being a dark-skinned people, man. Okay, and then furthermore, you got Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which describes what would happen to the Israelites when they went off, man. And then even furthermore, what group of people has been prophesying? What group of people has the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, been dealing with for the past several decades, man? Since this truth came back onto the scene in 1969, who's been telling you about that micro C hip? who gave you the true name of Yahweh? Who gave you the true name of Yahweh Shai? You know, who gave you the understanding on the 12 tribes, man? There are hundreds of videos of breakdowns going through how the tribes align to who they are, man. But ultimately, again, the natural man, those in the flesh, are not going to receive these things, man, because you know what hasn't been happening. What hasn't been happening is you have not had these, so-called Israelis telling you about the other tribes. I mean, they call themselves Jewish, but where's, well, I mean, don't you think that that would be an important thing if you had, if you're saying that you once had 12 brothers, wouldn't you be wanting to know? Yeah, if you're saying that you had 11 more brothers, wouldn't you be wanting to know where your other 11 brothers are? Of course. But these people aren't. Why? Because that's a problem that they want to stay away from, man. See, we can tell you these things until we're blue in the face, man. But ultimately, if the spirit's not dealing with you, man, it's just not gonna get. You know, you're just not gonna get it. This is John 1:4. It's talking about Yahweh Shai. It says, "In Him was life, and the life was the light of men." And that's exactly what this truth is, man. This truth, has showed us the way of how to separate ourselves from this world, man, which is what the scriptures say. And what has the Christian church been telling us prior to us coming into this truth? And what is the Christian church still telling their congregation? To pray for the president, to pray for the country. That's not the truth, man. There ain't no life in America. You know, the scriptures talk about Babylon being destroyed with a great fire, man. So their hope that they're giving you is in your destruction, man. John 1:5. Here's the point. It says, "And the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not," man. All right, and that's exactly what's going on here. Through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, we know who the 12 tribes are, man. All right. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull this one. The Spirit, there you go. Spirit will bring all things into remembrance. Because this guy's, talking about, well, we don't know who the 12 tribes are, but, it's definitely not you so-called black natives or Hispanics. John 14:26, "But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you." And the point here is that the Spirit would bring all things to remembrance. And so this is proof that we would know who we are, man. Even Baruch, man, in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves and they shall think upon my name, man. Okay? We would remember ourselves, man. Matter of fact, in the same book of Genesis 49, it tells you this is going to befall you in the latter end. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull that. Go ahead and pull that. See if this will load up on me. Sometimes it freezes. It says, "And Jacob called unto his son and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days," man. And let's go into the word last days here. In the last days, and that is Arayath, Salakia. In the end, okay, in the latter time, in the prophetic future time, man, and we are in those end times. So Genesis 49, talks about us remembering who we were in the last days, man. But this guy's got the audacity to sit there and tell you, for sure it's not you guys. For sure it's definitely not you. And what's he do? He goes into the DNA. Again, he's using the science of this world, which is foolishness, to try to discern the spiritual. And the scriptures, caution against that. Titus 3:9 says, "Avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain." And why are these genealogies foolishness? Because ultimately we can't trace our genealogy back. We can't sit here and this was Yahushua's DNA and it's got this many chromosomes and this and that. We can't do that, man. Let's say that they did have that. Okay, let's say in some off chance, some parallel let's say that they just had, do you think that they would allow you to be able to compare your DNA onto the blood of Yahweh Shai? Absolutely not. They would hide it. Why? And how do we know this? How do we know this? Not why do we think this, but how do we know this? Because they lied about his name. Of course they're gonna uh, uh, lie about our relationship to them. And this is the biggest truth that has been shown, man. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This is the truth that has been without fruit, as mentioned in the book of Second Ezra. Okay, so these genealogies are vain, man. All right, we're not here to discern the spiritual things through the flesh, man. Ultimately, what matter of fact, let's go ahead and get that in Jeremiah. I will send you pastors. Yeah, let's get that in Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah 3:15. Matter of fact, we'll get it in the KJV. It says, "And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding." Man, and you know those pastors started with our elders on down, man, of GMS, who gave us the knowledge and the understanding, man. So ultimately, if if you can't, if you can't get this knowledge and understanding, it's because it's been hidden to you, man. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get Proverbs 1:6, because see, somebody consider it and say, well, what do you mean it's been hidden? Well, our book, our heritage, our understanding, the way that our scriptures are written, they are dark sayings. This is Proverbs 1:6. It says to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. So here again, to understand the words, to understand the 12 tribes, to understand what the book of Revelations talks about, to understand the curses, the fear of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. That's the beginning of knowledge. And these pastors have been sent after his own heart to feed you with knowledge. And what have you done? You know, they shunned the prophets, man. Okay, and even Yahweh Shai himself, for you New Testament Christians, he spoke in dark sayings too. Matthew 13:10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou to them in parables? Again, in those dark sayings. He answered and said unto them, because it is given to you to know the mystery of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given, man. Yahweh Shai himself told you that he didn't speak in parables, man. The 12 tribes have been broken down for the spiritual man. But again, as we read, you know, the natural man, the world can't understand it, man. See, this is which again, which just brings me back now. It brings me back now. Now we have to remind ourselves, what a truly, what a truly beautiful gift we have. Neglect not. There you go. Neglect not the gift. Let's go ahead and pull that while I've got it on my mind here. 1 Timothy 4:14. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy with the laying of the hands of the presbytery. Man, this, understanding that, we can get this truth, understanding that we understand the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Man, let's not neglect it, let's do the work, because here you have, how many viewers, man? 779 views, 8.78 thousand subscribers, and all these people can't get it. This is a gift, man. Now, from here, I want to go to Romans 8:16. Okay, and the scripture reads, "The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High." Okay, and this is how we deal. This is how we understand that we are the children of the Most High. Because what does Amos 3:7 say? Surely the Most High will do nothing, but He reveals His secrets unto His servants, the prophets. Again, who gave you the name? Who told you about? Who told you that the MOTB was going to be that micro C hit, man? Who gave you the understanding um, on the book of Revelations, man? Who told you about the chariots? Who told you about reincarnation? Who told you about that about that old virgin birth myth, man? Who told you that? The servants. And what group of people were they? Started off with the tents of Judah, as the scriptures mention, man. All right, and then who has reverberated the the so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics, man. So it's of no surprise that these people can't get it because they're not meant to get it, man. Because the spirit's not going to enter uh, 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 a a wicked person, man. Okay, so let's go here. Because and look, before I continue on the next snippet, I'm gonna go ahead and say that our people are truly simple, man. Because think about that, man. This guy is sitting here, I just showed you that the DNA companies are owned by the so-called Israelis, and this guy is trusting in the science of the Israelis of Esau Edom, and just think about the foolishness of that, man. They they the the same white people that told you that his name was Jesus, the same white people that told you that um, he had white skin with blonde hair, the same white people who hid the name of the Father, the same white people who painted over the images of the apostles, the same white people who lied to you about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, the same white people that lied to you and said that once they captured Maduro that basically there will be no more fentanyl deaths. The same white people that have been lying to us since they came on the scene. You want to believe them now? Again, our people are foolish, man, and the scriptures themselves, speak on this. This is Jeremiah 4:22 says, "For my people is foolish; they have not known me. They are sottish children," and that word sottish means children. Stupid, by the way, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge, man. Our people would rather break down, a Kendrick rap song than to go into the scriptures and find out what the names of what the name of Yahweh is and what the name of Yahweh Shai is, man. Our people would rather go and try to apply the natural things unto the spiritual, man. Again, they're sottish children, man, and they have no understanding because only only our people, only 2/3 of our people don't have that understanding, man. Because what does the scripture say? The elect has attained it. The rest were blinded. The rest were blinded. Romans 11:7 says, What then? Israel has not obtained that which it seeketh for, but the election has obtained it, and the rest were blinded, man. So if you can't get if you can't get the understanding, man, that's because you've been blinded. But you know who would get it? The elect, man. And matter of fact, while we're on that, just to make sure that we serve this cold peace, man. Guess who blinded you? Says they have Isaiah 44:18 says they have not known nor understood. For he, who's that? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has shut their eyes that they cannot see, and their hearts that they cannot understand, man. So the elect will receive it, but if you can't get it, that's because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, just in the same manner that he chose certain people, certain elect men, to be able to receive this truth, and that's an act of love. You know what he did? Being the perfect judge, he did an act of hate and shut your eyes too, man. He blinded your eyes, man. Don't forget that, man. Matter of fact, from here now, I want to go back. I want to go back to that clip, okay, right here. And then I'm not gonna get the whole video. I'm gonna just go here because this man told you, oh well, it's definitely not you guys. Well, let's see who this guy thinks the Israelites are. Let's go ahead and go over here. It says right here. I think it was out 43. Yeah, we'll start it right. We'll start it right. 33.
Because now I got to prove everybody on earth is really descended from. Like, nah, bro. The Bible is true. Period. The problem is not trying to figure out what group of people you need to perfectly align. Like, no, listen. As a Christian, and I'm saying this to Christians, this is where I talked about a deficient understanding of Christianity. The Christian faith tells you anybody that belongs to Christ is a part of the true Israel. Anybody can be a part of Israel, can be a part of God's people, can be a true Israelite, regardless of whether they descend from Jacob or not. You want to be a true Israelite? You got to be a part of the true Christ which is Jesus.
Again, going completely off. So, in one breath, he tells you that you're definitely not the Israelites, but then in another breath, he turns around and tells the whole world, you can all be Israelites. Okay, so again, it just get, matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull that precept too. Hosea 1 and 10. All right, because these people and our people too, they don't have a problem with anybody, with the whole world being an Israelite, but they got a problem with the Israelites being an Israelite. Hosea 1 and 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living God, man. See, it definitely can be you, man. It definitely, but it can be Theodore, Thaddeus, and Joe. It can be everybody else but us. As long as you believe in white Jesus, no, because doesn't just make be, believing doesn't just make you to be saved, man. And it definitely doesn't make you a spiritual Israelite. And then if it does make you a spiritual Israelite, what what tribe of spiritual Israelite are you? Because according to the book of Revelations, there's only 12 gates, man. So what gate for what specific tribe are you getting into? All right. It's not just about believing, man. James 2 and 19, it says, Thou believest that there is one God, that do as well. The devils also believe and tremble. So just because you believe doesn't mean that you're an Israelite, because Donald Trump himself tells you, you know, all the conquistadors, man, they believed in a God while they were destroying the Israelites. Does that mean that they go into heaven? Absolutely not, man. Even Pharaoh himself, what could Pharaoh himself be a Israelite? Because Pharaoh, he believed in the power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Exodus 8 and 8. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, Entreat Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. So Pharaoh himself believed in the power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Could he have been an Israelite? Absolutely not. Why? Why do we say absolutely not? Because Romans 9 and even in the book of Exodus, it says, For this very reason I have raised up Pharaoh, so that the world may know his glory. That's a rough paraphrase, man. So there's and in that same book of Romans, in Romans 9, it talks about vessels for glory and vessels for dishonor, man. There are people that can be saved and people that cannot be saved, and people that believe can't just be saved, man. That's not what it comes down to. All right, I'm gonna close it off with a very foundational elementary scripture. Psalms 147 and 19. He shows his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Okay, he has not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And why is this important? Because his statutes and his judgment, which are his laws were only given unto the Israelites. And why is that important? Because what did Yahweh come to do? Yahweh came to, as it says in the book of Matthew chapter 1, to save his people. Who are his people? Israelites. And to save his people from what? From sin. What is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. So who was the law given to? Right here, Psalms 147, the Israelites, man. So only those that could sin could be saved, and only those that were given the law could sin, man. So yes, you have to be Israelite to be saved. And no, you're not gonna find your DNA. Oh, right here, he's from the tribe of Reuben. No, man. All right, it goes back to Romans 8 verse 16, man. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. If if you can get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and if you can truly believe it, man, then you might be an Israelite, man, because this isn't, you know, this isn't just a color thing either, man. All right, and I've gone on far longer than I believe I needed to. I'm gonna close it off right here, which I had quoted earlier, 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. But the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. And the Spirit's just not dealing with 2/3 of our people, man. Until the next one, shalom.